Sehr herzlich willkommen zur Eröffnung von Safe Land, United for Land in der Bundeskunsthalle. Schön, dass Sie alle da sind. Schön, dass wir hier online live übertragen heute Abend an unser großes Publikum international, aber auch nach Riyadh zum COP16 der UNCCD. A warm welcome to everybody online, but also in the audience. Thank you for joining us for the opening of the Safe Land, United for Land exhibition in cooperation with the UNCCD, which is the Convention to Combat Desertification. They have a conference at the moment to foster this fantastic theme. We want to support their endeavors, their engagement, and this is why we do this exhibition. I will continue in German now, please forgive me, but there will be a statement and a discussion in English to follow up. Ja, wir wollen Sie begrüßen in das Jahr der ökologischen Transformation, das wir hier in der Bundeskunsthalle mit der schönen Ausstellung Safe Land begehen. Wir haben ein ganzes Jahr Programm vorbereitet, Programm, das sich mit der ökologischen Transformation beschäftigt, mit der Nachhaltigkeit, mit großen Themen, die gesellschaftsrelevant und wichtig sind. Wir wollen Sie beispielsweise in die Kulturgeschichte ab 1900 entführen, zu den alternativen Lebensreformen. Wir haben ein großes Thema rund um die Weltmeere geplant, Ende nächsten Jahres, aber wir haben auch beispielsweise das Bauen der Zukunft auf dem Programm. Also es ist sehr viel vorbereitet, wir haben sehr viele Veranstaltungen, Diskussionsrunden, also freue ich mich, dass wir hier eben mit diesem wichtigen großen Thema und dieser sehr wichtigen Kooperation das Jahr beginnen. Die UNCCD, das ist die Konvention zur Vermeidung der Wüstenbildung oder Bekämpfung der Wüstenbildung. Das Land ist etwas, was so wichtig ist. Neben CO2-Emissionen ist es das zweitgrößte politische weltweite Thema. Es geht um die Degradation der Böden und es geht vor allem darum, dass mittlerweile leider über 100 Millionen Hektar Land jedes Jahr degradiert werden. Das ist dreimal so viel wie die Bundeskunsthalle und die UNCCD hat sich auf die Fahnen geschrieben, das bis 2040 zumindest zu halbieren. Das ist ein großes Thema, was alle was angeht, weil der Boden ist so wichtig. Das Land ist dort, worauf wir leben. Es ist das Land, das uns ernährt. Es sind die Böden, die die Natur ausmachen, die vor allen Dingen eben auch unserer Natur entsprechen. Wir haben Land als großes Thema aufgehängt. Da geht es eben vor allen Dingen auch um die Böden, wie sie sich entwickeln, aber wie sie auch zu diesen schönen Ressourcen werden, die wir haben und von denen wir abhängen. Wir wollen die Schönheit der Ländereien begutachten, wir wollen den weltweiten Landrenaturierungen eben nachspüren. Es geht aber auch wirklich um viele Themen, auch wie zum Beispiel Land eine Frage des Besitzes ist, eine Frage der Kultur, eine Frage von vielen Auseinandersetzungen. Ich freue mich, dass wir das mit einer Ausstellung machen, die vor allen Dingen Kunst und Kultur in den Mittelpunkt stellt. Jette Pleiger, unsere Kuratorin, ist Expertin für Arts and Science Ausstellungen hier im Haus. Vielleicht erinnern Sie sich an 2017, Wetterbericht, auch mit der UN gemeinsam. Da ging es um den Klimawandel, jetzt geht es eben um die großen Fragen der Landrenaturierung. Wir haben sehr viel vorbereitet, immersive Räume, interaktive Stationen. Es sind sogar Companions dabei, die Sie oder vor allem auch das junge Publikum begleiten. Wir haben einen riesen Globus, der ganz großartig die Narrationen zusammenfasst. Wir haben ganz viele Exponate, aber vor allem auch Kunstwerke von KünstlerInnen, die sich heutzutage sehr intensiv mit dem Thema beschäftigen. Es ist nicht nur allein unsere Idee, dass wir jetzt uns mit Boden beschäftigen oder mit Transformation. Nein, es kommt auch aus der KünstlerInnenschaft immer mehr, dass sie einen Beitrag leisten wollen. Das Potenzial der Kunst ist riesig groß, weil es können auch nochmal neue Geschichten erzählt werden, die Narrationen können sich ändern, sie sind sehr abwechslungsreich, sehr viele unterschiedliche Vermittlungsarten. Nur um zwei kleine Beispiele zu nennen. Liam Young, ein toller amerikanischer Künstler und Videokünstler hat vor allem hier 2 Installationen gemacht. Er schlägt beispielsweise vor, dass die gesamte Bevölkerung auf eine Hälfte des Globus zieht und die Natur und die Tiere sich sozusagen die andere Hälfte zurückerobern dürfen. Und man sieht in diesen Videos, wie sich sozusagen der Dschungel in die Großstadt wiedergibt oder die Tiere durch die Wolkenkratzer ziehen. Oder Alexandra Daisy Ginsberg ist eine Künstlerin, die sich viel mit Speculative Design beschäftigt. Sie beispielsweise schlägt vor, den Mars zur ökologischen Landwirtschaft zu nutzen. Und wie wird man wohl diesen Mars bewildern können? Wir wissen, es gibt keinen Planet B, vielleicht ja doch, wer weiß. Aber das sind eben die großen Fragen. Ich freue mich, dass das Thema so intensiv auch medial bespielt wird. Und dafür danke ich unseren Kolleginnen, die aus Wien angereist sind. Aber bevor ich in diese kleinen, oder nicht nur kleinen, sondern vielen einzelnen Namen vordringen möchte, der größte Dank geht an die UNCCD. Es war unser Kollege Murali Tumurakadi, der heute in Riad ist und uns hoffentlich zuschaut, der dieses Thema als Leiter der UNCCD vorangebracht hat. Es ist aber auch Ibrahim Thiaw, der heute Ihnen gleich ein Statement liefern wird. Er ist derjenige, der sozusagen das Go gegeben hat. Ich freue mich auch, dass meine Kollegin Zhao Meng Chen hier im Publikum sitzt. Sie hatte den Kontakt hergestellt. Sie ist die Leiterin der UN University. Und es freut mich irrsinnig, dass wir hier sozusagen dieses große Projekt, das über 3 Jahre entwickelt wurde, sehr intensiv begleitet wurde von vielen Expertinnen, von vielen Kollegen eben hier aufhängen haben können. Ich darf mich bedanken bei den 3 Kuratorinnen, Henriette Pleiger aus unserem Haus, aber wir haben hier auch Wagaki Wischniewski, sie ist auch von der UNCCD, und Tony Simons, er ist Agroforstwissenschaftler, er ist Experte und die 3 werden gleich auch zu Ihnen sprechen. Es ist eine großartige Ausstellung geworden. Thank you so much for all your support and engagements. Ich bedanke mich bei D-Form und Bildwerk, die heute da sind. Ich möchte hervorheben Andreas Pawlik, der vor allem diese Riesenverantwortung übernommen hat und diese wahnsinnigen Installationen mit uns und in verschiedenen Teams sind sehr, sehr viele hier heute da, aber auch involviert gewesen mit der Ausstellungsgestaltung und den Realisationen hier beschäftigt waren. Ursprünglich haben wir das Thema mit Studierenden der Universität in Wuppertal aufgesetzt. Wir wollten wissen und lernen, wie sich die junge Generation vielleicht diesem Thema nähern wird. Und da sind viele schöne Dinge entstanden. Es ist zum Beispiel eben diese wunderbaren Companions entstanden, aber auch ein sprechender Erdhaufen. Sie werden ihn entdecken in der Ausstellung. Ich bedanke mich bei Dr. Martina Fineder, ich habe sie noch nicht gesehen, und den vielen Studierenden, die heute Abend da sind aus Wuppertal. Das war eine tolle Exkursion und vor allem ein super Prozess, weil wir in 2 Semestern sehr viel gelernt haben voneinander und eben sehr viel auch in die Ausstellung mit übernehmen konnten. Ich darf mich auch bedanken bei den vielen anderen Beraterinnen, darunter eben auch Martina Fineder oder Annette Chessoir und viele andere mehr, die sich hier sozusagen als Expertin mit eingeschaltet haben. Unserem großen Team bin ich wie immer sehr, sehr dankbar, vor allem für die Realisation Hossein Maksudi, Karin Weber, Marion Korb, Martin Leetz, viele, viele im Haus, die ich jetzt alle nicht aufzählen kann. Ich freue mich, dass wir dieses Thema angegangen sind. Richard Sennett, der große Soziologe, sagt immer, wenn, oder nicht immer, ein wichtiges Statement von ihm ist, auch wenn ein Thema wichtig ist, ist es nicht gleich interessant. Und genau das wollten wir hier erreichen, dass wir versuchen, dieses Thema, ja, es ist wichtig, es ist komplex, aber es ist auch sehr schön, für Sie wirklich abwechslungsreich und betörend umsetzen wollten. Ich wünsche viel Vergnügen heute Abend. Ich wünsche Ihnen vor allem viel Neugier für die vielen Fakten, aber auch vielen Impressionen, die wir Ihnen bereiten. Ich freue mich, dass Ibrahim Thiaw jetzt ein Statement an Sie richten wird. Wir haben das im Vorfeld aufgezeichnet und dann freue ich mich auf die kurze Diskussion im Anschluss. Vielen Dank.
Good day. It is truly a pleasure for me to address the opening of this marvelous exhibition. This exhibition is a remarkable journey of collaboration between the Bundeskunsthalle and the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, particularly the G20 Global Land Restoration Initiative. This arose from the realization that to reach people with a stake in the future of our land, we must go beyond our usual United Nations conferences. We must reach the hearts, not just the minds, because land matters to us in more ways than we realize. Land matters to us humans because we are primarily a species that lives on land. Land matters because healthy lands provide us with the nutritious food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. Land matters because it provides us with the clothes we use, come summer, winter, fashion, or leisure. Land matters because it protects the terrestrial biodiversity vital for our existence on this planet. Land matters because it safeguards the climate, which makes our life on Earth safe. Land matters because, well preserved, it keeps us healthy. Last but not least, it helps us to keep our culture and our values. But we have not been good stewards of this vital resource. Humans have altered 70% of the world's mass land. Today, more than 1 billion hectares is degraded. 1 billion hectares. That is an area the size of the United States of America. Since 2015, we have been degrading, on average, the equivalent of 4 football fields every second, meaning that every year we are degrading an area that is about 3 times the size of Germany. Every hectare of land we degrade erodes our ability to be resilient to climate change and to other hazards. Dear friends, as you journey through this exhibition, I invite you to revel in the wonderful synergy of the human and natural perspectives of art and science, of land and life, and people and the planet. We are inseparable, simply inseparable. Make no mistake, reversing land degradation is not merely a technical fix or a political or an environmental issue. Culture, community, wisdom, faith, and emotions interweave in a tightly knit tapestry of solutions to reverse land degradation and address the complex and interdependent web of challenges that the world faces in the 21st century. Most of us grossly fail to recognize an important fact, that we are being managed by Earth as much as we think that we are the managers of land. In fact, we have a mindset of resource extraction and exploitation, not a mindset of management of our land. As a visitor to this magnificent exhibition, you are a powerful agent of change. Change starts with you. Change starts today, not tomorrow. How much water are you using each day from bathing to brushing your teeth? It is called wastewater. How many clothes do I really need every day? T-shirts are land and water. Your phone is a powerful tool of positive change. Use it or misuse it. No action is too big to undertake or too small to do. At the end of this visit, please remember this. Nature and humanity started their partnership 100,000 years ago. The future is in your hand. Have a wonderful journey.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Henriette Pleiger, one of the curators of this exhibition, and I would like again to introduce you to my co-curators, Wagaki Wisniewski. She's a communication expert of UNCCD-G20 Global Land Initiative, and Tony Simons. He's an agroforestry expert who has spent like all his work life, restoring land. He has an immense experience in land restoration, and we were greatly honored to have him as our scientific curator. And I would like to start our conversation here, our short conversation, with asking you, Tony, why is land so important for us? And why did we need to make an exhibition about it?
Thank you very much, Henrietta. Thank you, Director Eva. Thank you to the whole audience for coming and showing your interest in saving land. Why is land so important? Land is that multi-dimensional platform that connects all living and non-living things. And the purpose of this exhibition is to make sure that it's a priority for each of us. Think of your own body. The skin on your body is the largest and most important organ. And it's the same with land and our earth. Land is the skin of the earth that affects the health and well-being of the planet and of ourselves. Why is it such a priority to address land? You heard from the executive director from the UN Convention. It is a priority because our planet is sick. Look at the evidence. 1 billion hectares of land degraded. Extreme weather events, droughts, floods, heat waves. We've lost 2/3 of tropical rainforest area. We've lost 73% of vertebrates populations throughout the world in the last 50 years. We've lost 76% of all insect populations in Europe in the last 30 years. There's a lot of conflict going around the world that is land-related as well. So that is why we have this sick planet. So why have a convention? Why have an exhibition? The exhibition is important because it's a really safe space for science and art and culture to come together. You don't need full political consensus in an exhibition. You don't need to be bounded by conventional wisdom. And the purpose behind it was this marriage between the Bundeskunsthalle and the UNCCD to give a gift for sharing. We're coming to that time of the year, end of year festive season, where most people in the world share gifts. And honestly, the gift that Bundeskunsthalle and the UN Convention are sharing with us all is amazing. And you'll see that shortly. And think about you yourself, if you went to the doctor and the doctor said, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, but you've lost 73% of your lung function. I'm really sorry, you've lost 76% of your kidney function. I'm really sorry, you've got 2/3 of your body is in trauma. What would you do? First thing you would do is ask the doctor for emergency treatment and then ask your boss for 6 months off work. And yet we take land for granted, and we've got to get out of taking the land and the services that it gives us for granted.
Thank you, Tony. Wakaki. We have heard from Eva Kraus and Ibrahim Thiaw about this pioneering, this amazing cooperation between us, which is really not usual. It's an unusual partnership. And I would like to ask you whether you can tell us in a bit more detail what the G20 Global Land Initiative is about and what you are trying to achieve, and how each of us can help you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before I answer that question, I just want to acknowledge and appreciate the partnership we have had with Bundeskunsthalle. This is not an easy topic, and I just really, really want to thank you for having faith in us. We came confused, but you've helped us in a big, big way, as people will see, and so we really, really appreciate that.
And I would also want to acknowledge, as Eva, I think, mentioned earlier, that it's been a partnership, not just with the museum, but with other people. We can't walk this journey alone. We cannot walk this journey alone. And so to start with, I want to appreciate that. The second thing I want to do, because I'm a storyteller, is to find out from the audience, how many of you have heard about the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, or had heard about it before you heard about this museum? Just put up your hands, let me just see. That precisely is the problem. You see how many hands are there? Not a lot. This year, we were celebrating 30 years of work as a convention to combat desertification. How many of you know about climate change? Put up your hands, let me see. Just about everyone knows about climate change. This is the difference. Now, the Climate Change Convention, the Desertification Convention, and the Biodiversity Convention were born together, same time. We're the younger sister. But a lot of people know about the other two conventions and not about our convention. What we have done in the last 30 years, and for me the last 15 years, is to actually share the message that our land, as he said, and as the Executive Secretary said, is not well, it is unwell. And as we tackle climate change, we need to think about how we're going to live in the future, because yes, the change happens there, but we actually experience that pain on the land. We've seen a lot of droughts that are more frequent. We've seen a lot of flash floods. Our streets are becoming rivers from the flash floods because we are sealing the soil. So our land is sick. And we come, though, from the G20 with some good news. The good news is this. The fact that there's 1 billion hectares of degraded land is not something we imagine. It is something that we know, but because countries have committed to restore that 1 billion hectares of degraded land by 2030. This commitment was made from 2015 by those conventions that I just mentioned. But we're not moving fast enough. We need to scale up. The restoration has been happening. We need to scale it up. The word restoration is not very well known, even in the environment circles, as from what I learned from Tony a while ago. So the first thing we're trying to do as a G20 is to raise awareness about what this issue really is. Now, the G20 is a project in the UNCCD that was set up by the G20 countries because they realized the emergency and the urgency with which we have to restore land. And they said, okay, what we want to make sure is by 2040, half of all, we reduce degraded land by 50% by 2040. So they've made a commitment that is longer than the countries had made up to 2030. Now, I think we've done very well in communicating this story to the policymakers. I think we've not done very well in communicating our story to the public. And when Dr. Murali came and said, well, why don't we work with the exhibition? You know, for me it was like, museum? Who goes to the museum? But it's been a journey of learning, and it's amazing what you learn from the museum. It's been a journey of learning, working with young people, and amazing to see what they've brought to bear. And so for the G20, what we're looking to do is to engage every person, young, old, every person to be involved in this process so that we can scale the work and the speed at which we're returning the land that is graded to health, 1, to actually avoid degrading what is left, 2, and then the third is to reverse what we've already degraded. So those are the 3 things that the G20 is trying to do, and to support the UNCCD as a convention, as a project of the G20. This is what we bring to the table. Having said that, my curiosity is to you, Jette. How do we tell the story? We've told it for 15 years. How do you intend to do this in 6 months?
Thank you, Vakaki. And of course, you described really nicely that you were like what? The museum, what shall we do with these people? And the same was like from our side. I also thought at the beginning, well, land, soil, that's a bit of a dry topic, isn't it? And so we tried to figure out, Eva has already mentioned these wonderful people that we had been working with, students, young people, wonderful exhibition architects and technical media experts. And we have come up, I think, with a great variety of ideas. But for what? The main thing here is to improve our relationship to the ground we stand on. So we all, especially in culture, are very much interested in curious topics, amazing topics, exotic topics. But the mere existential thing that is the land underneath our feet, that really gives us the existential things that we need for life. Land is our habitat. We can't live in the ocean. We have only these 29% of Earth's surface to live on. So this was our first conditions. So we had to work on this. And the story we are telling here, and I hope you will all try to discover our exhibition after this opening ceremony. We guide you through 5 rooms, and the first room is called Land is Life. And we are trying to introduce you to the complex meanings of land, first in a large digital encyclopedia with a variety of objects that inform you about what is land, the surface of earth, the soil, the fertile humus, its culture, its mythology, its property, as we already heard. And then we lead you on to a digital globe where you can acquaint yourself to the situation of land nowadays in 3 environments. And we structured the exhibition into these 3 environments, which are the cities, the rural areas, and the natural habitats. 57% of us live on 2% of land in the cities. Large metropoles, smaller cities, but we need huge amounts of land to supply what we need living in the cities. So the rural areas are actually the supply system. Yeah, it's productive land, it's industry, it's mining, it's agriculture, it's livestock. It's not the fresh air we think of when we leave the city to go outside into nature. No, we encounter an industrial space. And the third room is this romanticized, undervalued piece of land that is probably left untouched, like the heart of nature that we still have on our planet, and that is undervalued. I learned from Tony that this has no economic value so far. This is the discussion at the moment. How can we apply economic value to this piece of land, because it's so full of services for our global situation, from carbon capture, climate change, biodiversity, and so on. And we are telling this story with, first of all, interactive floor projections and a large array of artworks and scientific objects from wonderful university collections, from a number of well-known artists. And I would also like to take the opportunity here to really thank from the heart with Eva together our lenders to this exhibition that are coming from Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, and involve artists from around the world, from Kenya, from Peru, from Mexico City, from Colombia. And so we have a large number of international voices in this exhibition. We also have 9 showcase films that acquaint you with positive projects. You can watch these films in the exhibition and you can learn what we can actually do in these 3 environments. You also, in the first room, encounter a wonderful large panoramic cinema that acquaints you with the forms of land, the ecosystems from forests, grasslands, deserts, wetlands and polar regions, and we try to reach your hearts. It's a beautiful panoramic cinema with an especially beautiful soundscape, and please immerse yourself in the beauty of land, fall in love with land, and open your hearts. We end the exhibition in the 5th room, which is called Take Action, and in this room we acquaint you also with young projects and many, many ideas what we can do as first steps to lead a more land-friendlier life. But I would like to ask, before I run away with telling you about the exhibition, my colleagues here, very brief statements. Wakaki and Tony, what would you like our visitors to take away from this exhibition?
What would we like you to take away from the exhibition? Well, first of all, please don't take away any of the displays. They are amazing. They're an incredible collection. We want them to live on after this exhibition. The 6 months of it being here at Bundeskunsthalle, we want it to be a living exhibition that travels the world and keeps the message about saving land. I think the number one thing will be awareness. You should be surprised, you should be challenged, you should be curious, you should trigger all kinds of thoughts that you didn't understand about land in these incredible rooms. Just stunning. So awareness would be number one. I think the second purpose would be, we'd be very happy if you could also become champions, advocates, engaging with others, and engaging particularly with youth. How do you explain land to a 10-year-old girl or a 12-year-old schoolboy? How do you get the messages across that it's as important as the ozone layer and saving the blue whale, etc.? We really need to get simple stories. And that's why it was a delight to work with the students from Wuppertal University in helping challenge some of the ways of looking at facts and figures. And because in this wonderful, safe space of an exhibition, you can bring together science and art and culture in one thing. And I think, lastly, is we want people to make up their own minds of how you want to change your behaviors. The average German emits 6.7 tons of carbon dioxide per year. Our global budget for everybody is 2.3. We're not asking you overnight to cut 4.4, cut away 2/3 of your lifestyle, but we've got to be making more deliberate choices and seeing how those choices relate to land and integrated land management, I think. So as you go around, think of all of those superlatives. Fantastic, amazing, inspiring, earth-changing, and let it help you with awareness and becoming that advocate, that champion, and lastly, in the changing of behaviors.
I agree. I do agree. Awareness is a big part of where change begins. I think we've talked a lot about the challenges we face, and I said that we come with a message of hope. In every crisis, there is an opportunity. And for the G20, one of the things we've done is to approach this issue as an opportunity to do something and an opportunity to make money. Young people are looking for jobs. And what we have found out is that when they understand the issue, they can actually do something about it. In the last 2 years, we have seen several startups that are specifically going to be making money, and good money, and investors are interested in investing in their work to actually restore land so that it increases in productivity, it increases in aesthetic value, because better land, more healthy land means more money for your property. They're generating income out of it, and we're reaching them where they're at, with their phones, with their technology. It's a new way of thinking, But this problem is not going to be solved by voluntary work. It's not going to be solved by public finance. It's also going to have to include the private sector. So as you go around and see the things that are coming up, challenge young people, challenge your children to actually take on this, because they are going to be dealing with the issue. So if there's anything I can give to you is there is hope, there is an opportunity, but it's going to be an intergenerational activity. We work with the young people. It's their world. We want to make sure that they can live in this world and enjoy as much as we have, if not more. So take action. It's the little things that we do. Like he said, the little things that we do every day. How much food you waste from your fridge. It's those little things that make a difference. Thank you.
So many thanks to my two partners in crime, so to speak. And I also want to alert you to the fact that we not only made an exhibition, but we also made a thick, heavy book in German and English, including authors and objects from all over the world, the global north, the global south, until Papua New Guinea, and wonderful, wonderful essays, objects, images, a very rich book. And I really want to ask you, spread the word, come, talk about it, share it on social media. It's a very, very good and important cause. Thank you very much. Oh, Tony has a postscript.
Please remember, people who save land live longer. People who save land have more friends. And lastly, people who save land enjoy a better love life. And if you don't believe us, just try it and see.
Vielleicht noch ein letzter Hinweis. Der zweite große Film von Liam Young, dem Filmemacher und Architekten, den Eva Kraus schon beschrieben hat, läuft im Medienkunstraum. Nicht verpassen. The Great Endeavor. Sehr, sehr sehenswert. Dankeschön. Die Ausstellung ist eröffnet.